Good afternoon, fellow Valencians. And I say that expression with some enthusiasm today, as we celebrate this year the 700th anniversary of the marriage of the Foundress, Marie de St Pol, with Aymer de Valence, Earl of Pembroke. The marriage took place in Paris on the 5th of July, 1321, and so we're only days away from the actual anniversary. We do not know exactly where the marriage took place in Paris. In the past, it was assumed to have been Notre Dame, but it was almost certainly not at Notre Dame. It could have been in the local parish church near the Foundress's family mansion, or in the private chapel within that family mansion. The name of Valence was established by Aymer's father, William de Valence, and it's worth spending a little time considering him. William de Valence was said to have been born in the Cistercian Abbey of Valence, founded by his parents in Poitou, but both the place and the date of his birth are uncertain. What is certain is that the abbey was founded around the time William was born, and that William took the name of the abbey as his name. He was a member of the Lusignan family. The Lusignans claimed to be descended from a fairy called Mélusine. They were the most powerful family in Poitou. Further afield, they provided kings for Cyprus, Jerusalem, and Armenia. But their fortunes in Poitou fell sharply in the 1240s. William de Valence was half-brother of Henry III of England and was one of the Lusignans that he invited to come to England in 1247, when William was just a teenager. Henry arranged for William to marry Joan de Montmorency, the wealthy heiress to the martial lands of Pembroke and Wexford, and she was effectively Countess of Pembroke in her own right. The young Lusignans, who came to England in 1247, had a reputation for lawlessness, but they were strongly protected by the king and greatly enriched by him, which partly led to the political crisis in 1258. William later became a leading English magnate and a loyal and trusted counsellor to Henry III and Edward I. He was especially prominent in the Second Barons' War, supporting the king against Simon de Montfort. In Edward I's reign, he was known at court as the king's uncle. William's son, Aymer de Valence, continued this loyal service to the crown, especially during the troubled reign of Edward II. Aymer was the leader of the middle party and the main conciliator between the king and the rebel barons. He personally led the king to safety from the battlefield after the defeat at Bannockburn in 1314. He actually became Earl of Pembroke not after the death of his father in 1296, but after the death of his mother in 1307. Marie de St Pol and Aymer de Valence were in fact related, so their marriage had to have papal approval. Aymer was the grandson of Isabella of Angoulême, mother of both William de Valence and Henry III. Marie's grandmother was Henry III's daughter. They were both descended from Isabella of Angoulême. Marie was also related to the French crown through her maternal grandfather, who was the great-grandson of Louis VI, and so in her veins ran the blood of the royal houses of both England and France, as Aubrey Atwater put it in his short history of the college. You will know that the right-hand side of the college crest, the dexter side, which in heraldic terms is the more important side, are the arms of Aymer de Valence, which he inherited from his father, William. William had taken the crest of his father, the Count of Lusignan, which was a series of horizontal stripes in blue and silver, As a young man, to make a difference, William put a red line around the border of this crest. When he became Lord of Pembroke, that red line turned into a series of red martlets. We can see this on the college crest, on his tomb in Westminster Abbey, and on the Foundress's robe in her portrait in the hall. This tells us that there is no definitive number of martlets on the college crest. On his crest, it depends on the size of the crest or the shape of the crest. The crest on the left-hand side of the college crest comes from the Châtillon family, one of the most powerful families in France in the Middle Ages. Marie's father, the Count of St Pol, was head of the junior branch of that family, hence the label or the strip and tails on the top of this crest indicating this. It is the marriage of Marie with Aymer de Valence that made the foundation of the college possible. And without it, we would not be gathering here today. Aymer de Valence inherited from his father influence and power. He inherited from his mother lands and wealth. All of this on his death in 1324 he gave to his wife, giving her all the resources she needed to found our college, the Hall of Valence-Marie. Marie de St Pol was born in northern France, not a million miles away from the Champagne region. May I suggest that we all open a bottle of champagne on the 5th of July and toast the 700th anniversary of this marriage and also our good fortune to be beneficiaries of it.